Today we're going to do the rear brake pads on this 2010 Jeep Grand Cherokee. I've done a number of these brake videos. They're all pretty much the same. Brakes, most of the time, are brakes on most passenger cars. There's some exceptions, but for the most part, the process is the same. That said, if you have a specific car and you search on YouTube for how to do brakes on your car, I'll try to help as many people as I can. So anytime I have an opportunity to do this, I'll try to show it and show you really pretty much anybody can do it. But you can save a boatload of money instead of taking your car to a brake shop. It's one of the most upcharged items out there. So I did the video once before where I did a one side, kind of went step by step, slow, methodical, kind of show you as much of it as I can on camera, and then went to the other side and did the other side just on my own and let you watch and show you how fast we can do it. I think that one was somewhere around 13 or 14 minutes. So let's see if we can get, I don't know, see if we can get under 10 on the next one. We'll find out. For now, let's start on this side and I'll show you specifically how to do it on this vehicle. So like I said, this is fairly simple. These are relatively small for a bigger vehicle, but sometimes these brakes, although I think the front ones are probably bigger. Yeah, they're definitely bigger. Got the wheels off already for doing some tires. I figured while I have the wheels off, let's get these done. So this is a 13 millimeter. It's almost always on American cars and domestic cars, either 13 or 15. So you just loosen these up. They're just little studs. They're on springs that go in their little rubber boots. They usually come loose pretty easily and then just pull out. They're not torqued in there very good. They're very tight. And you shouldn't torque them in very tight. Sometimes they need a little help from a screwdriver or a pry bar or whatever you got. Usually more people have a flathead screwdriver than a pry bar. Oop. This is the part that's kind of unique for every vehicle. How do these attach? There we go. Push this back in. It needs to compress a little bit before I get it out. We'll get a C-clamp. Now you can get one of those brake kits or brake tools, which I actually have one. But I'm trying to show you don't actually need one. You just need a really good sized C-clamp. I think this will be big enough. You're just going to find a spot on the back that's safe, and then on the front here use the old pad and you just crank this back and it'll just compress this. You don't need any special tools. You can, and you can rent that tool if you need to. But this will just crank back. You don't have to crack the bleeder. You don't have to change. You have to bleed brakes. Just leave everything closed. Now some bigger trucks, these are big calipers, multi-piston maybe. This is only single piston. They'll be hard to crank back. This part won't be true on every single set of brakes, but almost always it can be done. That's where that kit comes in handy, because you can hit it with something with power behind it. I'm gonna get a wire brush and clean this up. Now, this is just pads. I'm not doing rotors. If you have to do rotors, it's a different process, or additional process, I guess I should say. Not different, just more to it. I may still do the rotors on this. I'm trying to do this on a budget here. This is my daughter's new car, and she just doesn't have a ton of money, and trying to keep it simple. It looks worse than it is. It's not that pitted. It's just a little bit rusty from sitting for so long. They should clean up just on their own. If they don't, and it's starting to get, noisy, then I'll take these back off and replace rotors. But generally, there's while you're at it. So these have this bracket, which is the front, or the outside, I should say, and this has that sort of spidery bracket that goes inside here. That's the inside. So take a little bit of brake lubricant. Don't use anti-seize. It's not the same thing. And just put it on the back. Don't put it on the pad part, because then you don't want that to be slippery. You want that to stick. You just want this. It just quiets down the brake noise. It's not critical, but it is helpful. Backwards, this is upside down. Here we go. Same thing with this one. Kind of get inside that bracket. Yeah, this way. Oh, there, it sat back in. So it just came out of, missed this little groove there. Okay, now let's put this back on. Should slide over. And so this has this little squeaker bar here. So when this pad wears down, this will touch the rotor, and that'll tell you, you'll hear that squealy noise, and that'll tell you it's time to replace them. Make sure that's in there in place, and then this clip, what holds at the top, keeps tension on it. So I gotta get that onto that edge down here. There. Gotta pull those plungers out. Take some anise, see, I even said it, brake lubricant, put on the bolts, not too much. You don't want it to be all goopy. And then just find the thread, thread those back in. If you give too goopy, they'll push back out on you. That's kind of annoying. Until they're snug, and then one more ooga booga. That's it. All there's to it. Now we'll move to the other side. Like I said, this time, this side, we're just gonna do it. No stopping, no necessarily instructions. Just gonna see how fast we can do it. Ready? Let's hit a timer here. Stopwatch. Here we go. And we're off. Ready to go. Before I take that one all the way out, because I did them backwards, let's do this one. probably should change the brake fluid in this car. I looked at it when I was working on the engine and getting the rockers and stuff done, and it was pretty dark. So probably will go through and do a brake fluid, but not today. They were trying to get this thing back up and running. Keep trying to put these things in backwards, or upside down, or both. Where'd the other bolt go? There it is. A notch. That's it. Ha. Under 6 minutes. Now I gotta pressurize them. You'll go inside, step on the brake pad a couple times, get it to sync up. These gloves, that's cool. Tires back on. Actually, before I put tires back on, the brakes are done. We can call that good. These bump stops in here were rotted out. So I have new ones on order. The parts store didn't have them. They'll be here tomorrow. So I'll put new bump stops on tomorrow before I put this all back together, but that's a different video. So that's it. Brakes. I don't love bashing local shops. I really don't. And if you find a brake shop that's local, locally owned, locally manned, that's fair and honest, give them as much business as you can afford to give them. These big time shops though, like, I don't know, like I have a hard time with them. I realize it's still local people. They're your friends and neighbors, and their kids are in your kids' school, and they're at your PTA meetings and whatever. I hate not giving them support, but honestly, I've said this for so many years. I think brakes are one of the biggest rackets in the automotive world. They're not hard to do. They're not expensive to do. I didn't do the rotors because I was trying to save her a few bucks. They're about $150 a rotor, which is a little pricey. That's local. I'd probably get them cheaper on Amazon or something like that. Trying to get this done today though. So the rotors actually aren't that bad. I know they probably look bad, and some of you who are experienced brake guys are going, you're not gonna replace the rotors? You're out of your mind. Because most of the time you do. I though am pretty selective when I do rotors. I don't do them every time. Maybe half the time I don't, because they're not really anything wrong with them. I realize there's a thickness and tolerances and how much metal, and you know, if you see real damage to your rotors, you should replace them. Deep grooves, a lot of pitting, or you're starting to wear through, you know, where it's getting real thin and it might break, like that can happen. But most of the time, unless you're in like the hundreds of thousands of miles on these things, they last a pretty long time. Again, it's one of those things that I think is sort of a sort of mechanics thing to say. We have to say put new rotors on. In my opinion, take it for what it's worth, I don't think you have to put rotors on every single time. Look at your rotors and see what you think, and evaluate whether or not you think you need them. If you don't know any better, if you're looking at your rotors like, I don't know, then I would suggest changing them. And that is going to add a little cost. But if you're budget conscious, you only have, these were 35 bucks at my local auto parts store. So for pads, if you have $35, and you better to put $35 brake pads on your car and have brakes than to not do it because you don't have $250 to $300 to add new rotors to the mix. And let alone $700 to $800 at a shop. You see what this took me, like even with the recording and a little more detail and the camera setup, I'm at half an hour. So the labor they charge on these things is kind of absurd. On these cars, the rotors actually aren't that hard to get off. Some of them are a little hard to get. You take the caliper bracket off, and that can be a little bit messier. I expect the fronts would be a little harder. I'm looking at it now. Definitely, the fronts would be a little more difficult on the replaced rotors. But again, they're not bad either. In fact, that has a lot of pad left on it, so I'm not even gonna do the fronts. We're just gonna do the rears this time. It's the same process. Cherokee, all these Jeeps from this era, Liberty, Commander, they all have the same rear brake setup. And really, like I said, most of the domestic cars, this brake setup and process is the same. Some of them you have to turn back, and some of them have multi-piston where you're going to need a little more force to get those back, and that's where those kits come in handy. Just go to your local O'Reilly and rent one. But it's actually borrow one. You don't even, it costs you only up front, and then you return it and you get your money back. The kit I got on Amazon, I'll throw a link down below to it. It's like 30 bucks, but you don't need it. Just a basic C-clamp from Harbor Freight. That's where this one's from. But it's like a 4 or 5 inch C-clamp. You're good to go. So thanks for watching. Hope that helps. See you next time.